Alright, so let's go ahead and write some unit tests for our application. I'm gonna go ahead and create another project. I will say add new project, and you can just basically type in test and unit test project. And I'm going to name it simple web scraper .test .unit. All right. So you see here, simple web scraper .test.unit. And we can change this, or rather just first add a folder, say workers. And I'm going to test our scraper. So I'm going to change this name to scraper test. There you go. So for this one as well, just scraper test. And here we will say find collection with no segments. So find collection with no segments. So in this one, we're basically going to pass in a content, and we're going to mock that content out, not actually download it, and then create a scrape criteria, and then use our scraper to be able to test whether the scraper has in fact found the things that we expected it to find. So first thing though, we need to include in our references the simple web scraper. And the other thing that we need to do is in our properties, we need to say, remember it says new project? Well, in this case, it's not new project. We want our internals to be visible to our test. And just basically copy this assembly name and then bring it back. And that's it. Now the internals are going to be visible to the scraper test project, and we can basically access the scraper just by saying scraper, and we just need to import it, and that's it. So scraper equals new scraper. That's that. And now we're going to say var content equals, now let's write some content. So some fluff, data, then we have href, and we have that. We have http domain.com, and that's that. And then is data ID equals. So first is that, then some ID, and then we're going to say class equals, and then basically the class is going to be result title HD R L and K. Then we're going to say some text, and A is a closing tag, and more fluff data. Okay, so this is our content, like we have downloaded it from the internet. So then scrape criteria, need to import that, and scrape criteria. Now we're going to say new scrape criteria builder. So let's see if I spelled it correctly. Yes, I did. And we're going to say with data, which is basically our contents that we just created up top. And then I'm going to say with regex, and then the regex is basically going to be the same as we had before. So we can actually go ahead and copy this. Just copy that, paste it in here. It's our regex. And with regex option, we're going to say regex option. Or rather, just import that. I'm going to say explicit capture. And we're going to say build. So we have built our criteria. And we're going to say var found elements. And actually, instead of segments, we're going to say no parts. How about that? Because that's how we named it. So then we're going to say scraper, scrape, and we're going to pass in the scrape criteria, and we're going to say the following. So basically, just to step back for a second, we're basically scraping this contents, and in this case, the scrape criteria doesn't have any parts. So we're saying we are only expecting this much, because that's what our criteria matches. So we don't want any parts of that. Now we are going to go ahead and assert is true, and I'm going to say found elements should have only count 1. So there's only should be one found element. And then I'm going to say that should equal to, that found element should equal to this much. So that's it. That's what we should find. And actually go ahead and run it. We can do that is by saying test run, or debug in our case. And there you go. Step through it. So we have scraped it. It only has 1, and let's see what that 1 is. And that's it. You see, one of them has passed. Found collection with no parts. So this didn't have any parts. Now we can go ahead and create another one that says find collection with 2 parts. So that one has 2 parts. You can go ahead and copy that because it's going to be pretty similar. Just a name, find collection with 2 parts. That's going to be a bit different. So this is going to stay the same. Then we're going to basically have 2 parts here, which is going to be very similar to the scrape criteria that we have above. And we can just use that actually in our test. And that's that. And then we say the found elements are based on our scrape criteria that has 2 parts. And we're saying that is true that the count now should have 2, not just 1. And the first one should be some text because that's the description. And the second found element should be the link, which is a domain. So it should be this. Let's go check it out now and test, debug, just all tests. And you can see that if we go through it, it has 2 and everything else matched. So this one is, the first one is some text, the other one is the actual domain. That's what we specified in here. And our scraper has tested, and we basically can just say Windows Test Explorer. You can see on this side that both of them have passed. You can run them again if you want to, just run all. And you can see that both the tests have passed, the one with no parts and the other one with 2 parts. And we also have written the tests. So our application works, we have our unit tests in place, and everything is looking good. And that's it for now. I hope you have enjoyed writing this application and you have learned a lot from writing this application. And I will see you in the next video.